Okay folks, it's been about close to 48 hours since I found these tracks. As you can see, we've had a bit of rain, only light stuff. You can see the tracks have deteriorated quite significantly over that period of time. So I'd say when I first found them, they weren't very old at all. Initially, when I was down here, I came down, it was about 11 AM in the morning local time. So it's possible that they're either here just as I was coming down, they heard me coming down, they took off, or they were here earlier in the morning. I don't think the dog and the wallaby were here at the same time. There's no sign of any predator activity, as in the dog trying to eat the wallaby. Oh, bloody dragon tracks again. But these dog prints are pretty big actually. And it might be a bit hard to get some get my tongue around that perspective on the size of it in the camera. But roughly, that paw print there is roughly the same size as the palm of my hand. So that's one big dog. There's the wallaby track. That's his hind legs, 2 toes. And that's where his tail's been dragging along the ground. So he's just been loping along. He hasn't been jumping at high speed. So it sort of indicates that these two animals were down here at separate times. Now whether the dog's tracking the wallaby or he's just come down here for a drink, I don't know. I went back up the top. Yes, I had to put a dog down. It was a wild dog. I was hanging around the chicken coop up there, so I had to put him down. Not something I enjoyed, but when you're off-grid living, it's a necessity to protect your livestock and your crops. I also noticed here there's some smaller footprints. You can see them there. I don't know what that is. It's probably some sort of native marsupial, a smaller species. The tracks are fairly old actually, so I can't really distinguish what they are. So let's see if we can get a closer look at them. But anyway, around dams and water holes like this is where you'll find concentration most of the time of wildlife. If you're looking at hunting to supplement your off-grid food supply, it's just a matter of finding out the habits when they're down here. On hot days, they come down. Generally speaking, you usually find them down here early morning or late in the afternoon. But on extremely hot days, you might see them coming down. In any case, they're not too far away from water. Another thing you ought to be aware of around these water holes, particularly here in Australia, is snakes. Because they like to wait for those little animals they feed on, such as frogs, small marsupials, field mice, that sort of thing. So you really got to be careful around walking through this grass and stuff. So anyway, we'll go over and check that yabby pot. I've checked the one up, the one near the house, and it's got yabbies in it. I'll get a shot of that later. Feeling a bit peckish, so we'll go and pull that pot up and see if there's any in it, and might cook up 1 or 2. Okay, let's go and see what we got. Well, this is quite a good haul, folks. Good size too. A bit bigger than the ones up in the dam near the house, so there's some adult ones in here. There's probably close to a dozen of them in there. There's a few juvenile ones, so I'll pick those out and release them back into the dam. Yep, some granddaddies there. That's a good catch. So that's a good example of supplementing your off-grid food supply in these dams. As I said before, there's yabbies in them. These are native ones, and got to watch those nippers. Real man-eaters, these ones. Australian bush, if it doesn't want to bite you, it'll eat you. But yeah. Oh, look at that beauty there. Okay. Now back in the old days, I'll just close the trap up again so I don't lose them. I'll have to sort them out. Hang on, back in a sec. Okay. Back in the old days, as I referred to earlier on this part of the series, I used to use string. I've got hoochie cord here at the moment, but yeah, going back about 30 years ago, you tie a bit of bait. My finger simulates the bait. You might tie a small rock to it sometimes just to make it sink. And you throw it out there in the dam, and you wait, and you wait. Depending on how many in there and how hungry they are, you can slowly feel them starting to tug on this, drawing it off, because these little critters, they live in holes that they've made in the dam banks and the bottom, or under debris in the dam itself, fallen tree branches, stuff like that, rocks, whatever. And you start to feel them pulling the tension on that. So the trick is, and it's a skill, is that you've got to very, very slowly pull them up, because all I've done is grab that meat by the nippers and very, very slowly pull them up, pull them back towards you, and you have a scoop. And you can make it out of a fork stick, or you can buy a commercial one, fork stick with a bit of woven grass or something. And pretty much as soon as they see that bright sunlight, they let go and they're gone. So you've got to be quick. It's a real skill. Caught many a yabby this way, very time consuming. And needless to say, the last time I did this about 30 years ago down in Victoria, I had a tangle with a tiger snake. So that's another story. But yeah, that's another way to catch them. Certainly these traps might diverse a bit off the topic of off-grid food production. Yeah, not the sort of thing you carry around in your backpack when you're in survival mode out in the bush. You may be able to, but the alternative is a bit of string, a bit of meat from a bit of hunting or something like that, and you can catch them that way. It's a real skill. I haven't done it for, like I said, 30 years, so that's another way to catch them. Alright, feeling a bit peckish, so I'll sort these blokes out, throw the young ones back, and cook one up.